Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to High Impact Leadership. I'm John Little. I am the founder and owner of the Winner's Edge Coaching. And so today, I'm going to be walking you through some of the most important things that I have experienced when it comes to building strong leaders. Thank you for joining me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, as well as on YouTube. Going to be live for about the next 40 minutes or so, just walking you through some of these really important things that I have learned throughout my career, things that I have taught and developed in many leaders, hundreds of leaders across the country here in the US, and have really helped them move forward in their careers. I'm going to really just give you these tips, these tools, these models that you can use as you want to continue to grow your leadership skills and capability. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hop right into the content. So again, high impact leadership is what we're talking about. And really it starts with who you are and the role that you play within your organizations. So I'm really talking to those who are either in those leadership roles or who are aspiring to be in those leadership roles. And it's a balance of managing processes and inspiring people, because ultimately what it comes down to is that managers have to lead and also leaders need to manage. You can't completely break out the two. In order to be effective, you do have to understand and have to be able to be effective in both areas. So as a manager, here are some of the things that you are going to be doing. As a manager, you're really managing the processes. You're managing the processes that people are going to be doing. Let me go ahead and make the screen a little bit bigger so that way you can see the content and less of me. There we go. So you're managing the processes of getting things done. You're managing the processes, you're managing your outputs, you're managing your results through a transactional style, through a focus on the work, and also through a lens of seeking comfort. And that comfort comes from consistently getting those results through the processes. But here's where it changes when we're talking about leaders, because what leaders do is leaders are inspiring. You're inspiring the people to act. You're inspiring that action. It's not only about the process. This is about inspiration of the people in order to still get those results. So instead of a transactional style, you're looking at a transformational style, a transformation rooted in emotions, rooted in connection, rooted in relationships. Those are the things that are going to be driving that transformational style. You're going to be focused on the people instead of just the processes and the work. You're still going to get the work done, but it's through a people focus. And ultimately, you're seeking a risk. It's a little tougher when you're a leader, because when you're a leader, you're more willing to try things. You're more willing to put yourself out there. You're more willing to be engaged at a different level than when you are a manager. And so leadership really is that next space that people need to grow into beyond being a manager. Doesn't mean that managing is not important. It just means that those who are able to take that next step and bridge to being a leader, they're able to manage the tasks and the processes through inspiration, through being able to get people to want to invest that effort, want to give that discretionary effort. We want people who are engaged. Leaders really draw that out of people more so than those that are simply focusing on managing. And really where a lot of this comes down to, it comes down to your emotional intelligence. So there's some research that's been done, and a lot of you may have already heard this, but 85% of your financial success comes from your understanding of human engineering, your ability to understand how people think, act, and work. And that really starts to tap into the foundations of emotional intelligence. So the first thing that we want to talk about is we want to talk about self-control. And when you're aware of yourself, when you're aware of the things that you are kind of tuned to, the things that you really connect with, your self-awareness helps you to then lean into self-control. And your self-control is something that allows you to recognize when you maybe are getting off of your best place. You're getting distracted. You're getting confused based on things that are happening around you. You may be acting differently than you want to act, think, or behave. And then when you have that self-control, when you can rein that in, that allows you to then lean into a little bit more social awareness, being aware of those that are around you and being aware of the things that are their emotional triggers, some of the ways that their personalities are defined. And then once you have an understanding of yourself, understanding yourself first, and then being able to control yourself, be able to control your fears, your emotions, and navigate through relationships with that, then the social awareness piece then becomes again that much more important, because then you can start to see and recognize things in others, and then you can lean into social skill. And the social skill is now, how do you calibrate yourself, how do you calibrate your behavior as a leader to meet the needs of others, and when you're meeting the needs of others, you're really giving them the opportunity to shine. So, looking at the people formula, and this is something that one of my colleagues coined, and that we've done over the years. The people formula is really looking at those personality components that build out who you are as a person, and the things that help you to navigate through the world. So we're looking at a few different areas. So we look at whether you're primarily, whether you have a preference for being extroverted or outgoing, or whether you have a preference for being more reserved or introverted, right? And so it's not one or the other all the time. It's a blend of both, but it's which one do you lean more towards? Do you have more extroverted preferences, more introverted preferences? And then also, do you tend to be more thinking, or do you tend to have more of a task preference, or do you tend to be a little bit more feeling and have more of a people preference? And again, this is just kind of how you're orientated. And all of us are a combination of all of these things. It's just which ones we use more frequently and with greater comfort. And really, when we start to look at how it all comes together, this is how our personalities really work. And when we look at that upper left-hand quadrant, the things that will be specific to those who are more extroverted or more outgoing and have that task focus, they tend to they tend to be more motivated by results, more motivated by achievement. They tend to look for things in interactions that are going to be engaging to them, that will help them feel respected, and that will help them feel as though they are able to give more solutions rather than looking at issues. When we also look at what motivates those who have extroverted and feeling preferences, then we're looking at people who have that desire to have more fun with a purpose. They're looking for that high level of engagement. They're looking for they tend to be a little bit more creative, tend to have more flexibility. They tend to look for interactions that are going to give them kind of what they need, what they're looking for from an emotional standpoint.